Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. My name is Adam, and as you can see, I am currently on our deed that is on the release server. We've been on this new adventure for a few episodes now, and the idea was that we were going to just drop all of our high quality stuff, in fact, drop everything that was in our inventory, get magically whisked away to a random spot on a random server, and here we are after a bunch of weeks now doing so. Maybe it's been maybe even a couple months now. This is what we had to show for it so far. So I'm going to show you around. Hey Regan Nation, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. So glad you could make it. As you can see, I'm on my own here with no Brian. He had to bow out last minute as sort of a things get busy, but really this week he got a little bit sick, which was he basically said about an hour before the show that he didn't feel like he was going to be able to make it. Hey Willow, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. So glad you could make it. And Zenomir, thank you so much for the sub. That's 7 months in a row. Wow, just wow. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. So what we're looking at here is, this is Brian's concoction. He wanted to make a place for his cows, for his cattle. Now I'll be taking care of the cattle as I'm working on my animal husbandry, but he particularly wanted cattle so that we could be getting a good supply of hide and leather for his leatherworking stuff. I feel like this time around, this iteration of our deed is going to be a lot more animal-centric compared to our previous deeds. We've always had horses, but we've never really done much other than horses. So it's going to feel a little bit different this time around, I'd say. Let me just fix up this grass. Until we can get all of these tiles turned into enchanted grass, we're going to have to continually replant. Continually replant. I'm not here, I'm lurking. So, it's been a couple weeks. Last week we were just not able to make it on and do a stream. This week it was like so close to not. I'm just, really felt like I really wanted to do a stream tonight, despite the fact that we weren't able to coordinate a time that Brian and I could get on. But nonetheless, I'm here, and I have decided that one thing that we're going to be needing in the near future to move on to the next sort of stage is a bunch of bulk materials to make buildings. I mean, we kind of got by with the planks and the planks on the other house and the timber for this house, but really we need to get the bricks going. Now stone, obviously not a big issue, but I'm looking for some slate, from some sandstone, marble, just to get supplies up. Now, actually, one other thing I want to show is, before I go, is that eventually, I think the next building, so eventually what we're going to get working on is in this vicinity right here, we're going to make our storage. At least I'm hoping so. So we'll make a big storage building here and connect it to the stables through a bridge. So we'll somehow have a bridge connecting over to the storage, and then a bridge that leads down to the bottom. And as you can see, the pond right in front. And then after that, I'm kind of hoping for my workstation to be over here overlooking the pond. Haven't quite decided exactly whether that's going to be the case, but this is where I'm kind of tentatively looking for. So, I mean, we've been working quite a lot since the last episode. Mostly on building this building over here, getting the cows all set up, breeding the horses. I've been doing a lot of animal husbandry. I'm not sure why I'm carrying some worms. But the other thing that we've been working on is trying to get the almanac set up for starting my forestry stuff. And while we're doing that, I may as well make one for Brian as well. So since oleanders were in season, I went around and got a whole bunch of oleander reports. So that's been keeping me busy. But in today's episode, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a trip off deed. And we're going to go looking for some sandstone. Let's see. I thought I was ready, but I think I'm going to need to drop off this dirt. I think I'm just going to put it here for now. Let's just put in a pile of dirt here. Good. I'll pick that up later so that I can have a full empty 3 crates. Let's see. Did I bring food? I brought food. It's already rotting away. And do I have my pickaxe? Let's see. Yes, okay, I have a pickaxe. Good. I think I'm all ready to go. Food and water. All right, let's get going. So this is the back of our deed, and as I head this direction away from the water, it brings us to the highway. Now, I've done this once before. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to make I'm going to be able to go the right way, but hopefully, Willow, you're here to help me in case I get lost. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the main highway. At some point or another, we're going to be expanding our deed back to at least close to the highway. We're definitely going to need to expand the deed if we want to increase the number of animals we got. Currently, I've expanded the deed a little bit just to allow us to breed a few more cows and a few more hell horses. Right now, our ratio is at 30. I think it needs to stay above 15. So we're about halfway, right? So like, yes, I'm going to go this way. We're about halfway. If we double the amount of animals that we have now, then that would put us over the ratio. On the other hand, I'm trying not to expand beyond our means. I don't want to expand to a massive, large deed and not have the money to keep the upkeep going. So we'll do it a little bit at a time. I think that's the best for us. Oh, you're as bad as me as for directions. Okay, so that's okay. I'm okay getting lost if I get lost a little bit. I do know that where I'm heading is to the other side of this coast. Like, take a look at the map here. This is about where our deed is, somewhere on this J24 square on the left-hand coast. And I know where I'm going is somewhere over here to the K24 on the opposite side, or K25, something like that. So I feel like I'm going in the right-ish direction. And there's a couple other things that I wanted to do along the way. One of them was to stop by there's a bunch of the GMs and players put together a memorial for Titch, and it's like an official memorial. So I wanted to stop by and take a look at that. Wow, this is... Last time I was here, I didn't stop too much to take a look at what was going on here, but we got a bunch of rare statues. We got a rare Colossus of Foe, a Warg statue. See, this is something that I want to get into, is dyeing the boats. I like how they made that change where you can now dye just specific, like, you dye part of the boat, because it used to be the entire boat would just turn the color, but now there's 2 portions that you can dye. Okay, so head to the water. Yeah, I kind of remember doing this exact same thing last, going around this hedge on the outside, and I think that worked. So we'll see what happens here, what we get to. But I'm feeling like I kind of want to find the Titch Memorial first and take a little bit of a look around there. And I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find it. So that bridge over there, I think, is what's going to lead me to there. Now, while we're going along, there's a bunch of stuff that's been happening in the news related to Wurm. We got a Valray International update. Yeah, this looks right. That bridge is familiar. And a Supreme Colossus of Venora. That's awesome. So the big update, something that we haven't learned before, is that they are going to be adding the normal and specular mapping to character models, which is awesome. So what's going to happen is at the same time that we're going to get the specular mapping for armor and all the stuff that we wear, they're going to add that specular mapping to the person, to the what do you call it, the character models. So if I were to, let's say, take off these, actually I might even be able to show it on the thing, but you see how like our arms are just like a bland pale skin color? It doesn't look real. It looks kind of like a cartoon. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to add that specular map and the normal map to make it look like veins are on your arms and hands, and yeah. So can't wait to see that into the game. All these visual improvements over the last little bit have made the game just super, super nice looking. So let's see here. Now I can't wait until Brian makes us some wagons. That's something that we need to be moving towards, because as it is, I only have 3 large crates available, which is only 900 sandstone. So if I continue using this card, I'm going to need several trips, I'd say, for what we're thinking what we might need. And another thing that was mentioned in the news was, and it was mentioned the last time too, is that the devs are going to be doing a dev stream, like an official Twitch dev stream. So I'm really, really curious to know how that's going to turn out, or what they're going to be discussing on that dev stream. I'm really curious to know when it's going to start. Like, I'm just so excited because I kind of want to, get a date so I can mark that day in the calendar and make sure that I don't miss it. Very curious to know what's going to happen on that dev stream. But really, not much has been revealed. What happened? Did I go the wrong way? Oh, it's over there. It's over there. There we go. It's all hidden away. Alright, so let's take a look at this. So we have a statue of Titch on the end of a dock, which looks really nice. I wish they could add docks, like true docks. Ones where it's like a bridge that leads to nowhere. But I wonder, I guess you could like kind of emulate that dock-like feel if, let's say, you put planks down on the end, and I don't know. But yeah, this looks really nice. Makes it look like a dock. Let's see here. Ooh, and we get these little sound notifications. Titch, after all that you have done for Wurm and the community, we, your friends and allies, would like to dedicate this memorial to your many accomplishments and deeds on Wurm. It is here, not only for those who had the honor of knowing and working with you, but also for future Wormians to see the creatively imaginative person you were. We dearly miss you. So for those of you who don't know who Titch is, she was a volunteer dev for this game, and she brought in so many amazing changes to the game. And we're gonna, I guess, see, what those were as we go through this memorial. But she had a huge impact on the game, and many people, everybody who enjoys this game definitely has Titch to thank for a lot of her additions to the game. And so Titch passed away at the end of 2018, and since then the Wurm team has sort of honored her memory by creating this statue. It can be player made, and as well you can find archaeology fragments that can make rare versions of it. So from what I understand, this memorial was put together by many different Wormians, many GMs or many players who knew Titch, and people are welcome apparently to come by and drop something off. I should have brought something. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have prepared something to bring. I'll have to do that on my own time another time. Now another thing I've heard is that these bridges leading up to this memorial were named after Titch's different deeds. So Rockcliffe, I guess, is on the JK Home server. That's the old, I don't think it exists anymore, server. Yeah, the other thing is, I've been told that if you examine random things, they make sounds. So I'm not sure if that bell sound came from me examining this. I'm not sure. Or if that was somebody else. But I'll be randomly examining things, and I've heard there's quite a few surprises. So let's see here. And this trellis looks tilted. That's interesting. Oh, and I completely forgot. Before I go any further, now would be a perfect time. And look at that Colossus of Titch statue. That's crazy. It looks like it has a fantastic glow. Do you guys see that glowing? Before I go any further, this is, I think, a perfect spot to open up my beer. I should have opened this up a long time ago, maybe even before I left. But nonetheless, here we are. I am drinking tonight a beer from Grand River Brewing. I've never heard of this company before, but the name caught my attention. It's called Beam Me Up, and it's a Scotty Ale. Beam Me Up, a Scotty Ale. Yeah. So that caught my attention and made me buy it. So let's test it out and see what it's like. Yeah, that is a nice statue, eh? It's definitely a one-of-a-kind statue. Definitely. Now, I think I was on Catspur stream, watching Catspur earlier today. She was streaming some Wurm. And I mentioned there that I was going to go probably look through this memorial. And other people were mentioning that there's lots of other memorials all across the lands of Wurm. Somebody mentioned Mukufer. Mukufer, who also streams Wurm Online. He's also part of the Venn network. And he has created a memorial for Titch on his deed. And I've seen it on his streams a couple times now, and it is just beautiful. Totally worth checking it out. This is really cool with the marble brazier right sticking out of the way. Let's see, I'm too far away. I'm hearing those bells. Okay, so here's a statue. Dream Master. So, if I am not mistaken, Dream Master is also known as Enki. Thank you, Titch. You are a beacon of possibilities that shines over everything we do. You broadened our horizons with your gifts, and you taught us and guided us through troubled times. Thank you for making so many dreams possible. Thank you, Titch. This place is just beautiful because it, just these sorts of sentiments being left behind. It's something how, like no other game can, things like this. Just you don't see these things in other games. I wonder what would happen if I went down. I'm too far away. So Silver Moon is a neighbor of ours. She lives like right next door to our new place. And so she apparently must have had a huge impact here. It's interesting that there's a door there. Now, I am no doubt going to miss some things because there's just so many little things to look at, I think, once we get up here. Look at that statue. That's crazy. That's humongous. So I do wonder if that's only like if you can only spawn that as a GM. Or if there is a way to make one. I'm curious. But that's quite amazing. That's quite amazing, I might say. Alright, we're making our way to the top. And what do I do here? Was I supposed to... I was probably supposed to get off the ramp over here. Wishing well. Interesting. Seems like a lot of inside jokes. Sleep bonus fountain. Keep trying ping pong. So this looks really nice. Celebration of Titch. So when I examine it, I get that little ringing. This so decorated so nicely. I never really thought, like, these pavilions kind of make like a gazebo-like look, right? I've never thought of using these pavilions like this. You know, do you guys hear the sound from in the game? Are you guys able to hear that? You guys can hear that, right? So if I'm not mistaken, that is the song that gets procced whenever you used to examine those little gnomes. But then they got rid of that. They got rid of that a long time ago. So the statue is GM only, yeah. Yeah, that's so one of a kind. That's crazy. And Ping Pong always bugged Titch to make a sleep bonus fountain. Of course he would. That's so funny. So that Skull Cup triggers that song. That's funny. All these like little dings. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. I should probably go this way. Alright, more stuff going on here. In memory of Titch. This memorial is dedicated to the accomplishments of Titch, who added much to our lives and our world that surrounds you, including bridges, highways, cooking, permissions, beehives, trellises, cave buildings, wagoneers, cave buildings is listed twice, paving and terraforming options, the almanac, new resources, and much more. Please feel free to stay a bit and enjoy the view and talk about your favorite memories of Titch with those around you. All are welcome to leave mementos in honor of Titch. I really should have brought a memento. Problem is I don't really have something that I would consider to be a memento. So I will... You know, I'll have to bring Brian up here at some point. Oh, look at that. A marlin. See, Titch, I got it. Oh, and Willow, you caught that. Awesome. And I think that message we saw already, but there it is again. Like, we're getting a whole bunch of sounds. Right? Like, all those sounds, but nobody's in our local. And I think they're all being procced by things going on in this area. Rare bouquet of white flowers. You see how they're damaged? I wonder if that's just... Do they eventually rot away here? Or is there something that protects them? Oh, so she... Sorry, I missed your message. She always teased you saying that you wouldn't catch a marlin. So there you go. Yeah. I feel like they should make it so that things don't get damaged. Ooh, a 92 quality dioptra. It's quite impressive. And it looks like people are leaving things, you know, in memory of Titch. There's a rare spindle. Huh. It's like these horses are set so that it looks like they're pulling this cart, which is a Supreme Titch's cart. Because she made it. Interesting. Improved to 92 quality. Gone fishing, slate door. Yeah, this place is incredible. Oh yeah? She always had a pair of jets pulling that cart. Interesting. And welcome, Silverwolf, to the stream. I don't think I examined this thing. Does this thing do anything? Oh, I see. Right, when you examine all of these are like the Valray mission items. You get sort of a list of everybody who contributed to it. But I never understood these numbers. Do those numbers represent the number of items that each person put in? I'm unsure how many items go into one of these. What are they called? Shrines? Hmm. Mausoleum of Mantra. I feel like those are those mission items that you like every so often have to go and do something related to them, I think. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Have I missed anything? Is there anything... I feel like this whole area is blocked off, right? Around here, yeah. That's hedges. Onward to 100 digging. And there's a little digger. And I get the digging sounds when I come near her. Yeah, the number of items. Wagoneer. Too far away. Too far away. Oh, there we go. Yeah. This is a very nice memorial. I'll definitely have to come back. Again, I'll bring Brian to show him, and we'll have to think of something to come and bring and leave. Okay, so next I'm gonna go back down here, the way I came. And there was a tunnel there that Willow had so kindly showed me. She showed me around this place, and also through the tunnels, where there's a whole bunch of sandstone veins. Wow, this is just awesome. This whole bridge system must have taken a while. Like, that's just crazy. Yeah, well, you'll have to catch him on. I bet he wouldn't mind if you took him along and showed him around. Alright, let's see. I have to catch my bearings here. I know there was this little bit of forest to go through. And is it here? Yes, it is. Okay, so here's the mine. Yeah. And it looks like there's like a bunch of veins that need to be popped in order to make this tunnel clear fully. But it's all reinforced. Oh wait, I spoke too soon. It looks reinforced here and there. So the ground here is reinforced, and there's some reinforcements on the side. Though I wonder why those ones are reinforced. Looks like we kind of want to get this to be a 2-tunnel wide. So I wouldn't mind coming by and popping some of these veins. So there was another thing that they added recently, just in the most recent update. Oh, here's some of the sandstone. And they added another couple layers of the journal entry, which I'm still not that far on, as you can see. I finished the first 2. What's this one? New tutorial? I feel like I should have gotten... I'll have to look to see why I don't have the tutorial done. But Let's see. Is there anyone that I might be able to complete right now while I'm doing this? I don't think so. Build an underground house? No, no, no. There was nothing related to like mining a whole bunch of stuff, I don't think, right? I mean, there was this one. Mine a ton of high quality ore, which I've already finished. But nothing else, I don't think. Like, isn't there one that's like destroy veins of some kind? Maybe it's in the higher ones that I haven't unlocked yet. Anyway. Okay, so here's the A sandstone. Let me just double check. I don't want to be like using up all the sandstone in here. But this one's not a bad one to mine out because it looks like it's along this row of the second row of the tunnel. Let's see. What is it saying? It's a poor quality and the ore is starting to deplete. Seems good, a perfectly good one to do because poor quality, I'm sure nobody's going to be missing that one. And I know for a fact that there's a whole ton up there. Oh, and there's some rock salt here. Okay, I think I'm just going to mine on this one. And starting to deplete. Oh, the vein destroy one isn't triggering property. Okay, well, then I guess I better not spend all my time destroying veins just yet. Okay, so let's get mining. I have access to that. Okay, good. And as you can see, I imped my pickaxe finally up to a decent quality, but still no Wind of Ages. Still no Wind of Ages, so the mining speed is still hampered a little bit. Let's see, we got 3.8 seconds on the first action, which actually is not so bad. 3.8 seconds is pretty decent. So the vein destroy one is not triggering properly. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for the people who spent all the time trying to figure out or trying to do it. Because it takes a while to destroy one. I was looking at these, like feeling like I kind of gotta get a move on these. I really do gotta get a move on because, let's see, where is it? So on this one, when completing this one, you get Glimmer Steel or Adamantine Lump, 3 hours of sleep bonus, which is a lot. I'll have to make sure that I used up my sleep bonus before triggering that one. And then this one here is a choice of your affinity and 3 hours of sleep bonus. That's insane. All I have to do is use a rune, create a wagon. Oh, create a wagon. I'll have to work on my fine carpentry for that. Harvest 50 herbs, which that doesn't seem too bad. I want to get into gardening anyway, so I think that's a good one to go for. Help complete 10 missions. Okay, that might take a little bit of time, but I think I can do that. And then I'll have to catch a huge fish, which at some point or another I'm gonna get working on fishing again. See how things have changed, because I haven't there was a change to the fishing system and I haven't really spent enough time, I think, giving it a chance. So I think I'm going to try it again and I'll complete that one. And then there's another one up here somewhere where it's like catch a large fish. So yeah, we'll work towards that. And I think that one's not so bad to get through. I'll have to work on my fine carpentry to 60 or so, or whatever it takes to make a wagon. But then what's got me really interested was this one. Increase max sleep bonus and get 6 hours of sleep bonus. So that means it moves your max sleep bonus from 5 to 6 hours, which is awesome. But here's the one that's going to prevent me from getting that one, I think, is ride a unicorn. So yeah, I'm going to have to work on my taming in order for that to happen. Then there's also this one, cook Billy Sheep Gruff Stew. Let's check. Do I have Billy Sheep Gruff Stew? Here, let's move this over here where you can see it. I know I did get maybe 2 or 3 recipes like off the trolls, but I don't think it was the Billy Sheep Gruff Stew. So it seems like we're gonna have to defeat a whole bunch of trolls and get this recipe. But man, how many trolls do you need to destroy for that? Because you know, during the Halloween event where you had to go out and kill a whole bunch of trolls, we took down a ton of them and got a bunch of masks from them, or whatever it was. What was it that was dropping off of them? Yeah, it was the skull masks. Didn't get any of those Billy Sheep Gruff Stew recipes. I can probably get that one pretty easily, and I'm pretty close. Let me see. Yeah, okay, that went over that, and let's see, under my smithing, my armor smithing, it's my plate armor smithing at 75. I probably can put an armor piece to 80 using that. Oh, I should probably turn that off. Alright. So I'll have to get that recipe. Win 10 spars. And apparently I already won 2. I don't remember that. Reach meditation path 9. That's annoying. Yeah. Create 10 ruins. I think I can pull that off. That one. We'll have to work on meditation. And knowing how things go, there's probably going to be one down lower that says reach meditation path 11 or something. If I had asked you 3 weeks ago, you would have had an extra. We had an extra which? I missed. Oh, the Billy Sheep Gruff Stew recipe. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We'll have to go on a troll hunting expedition. Is what will have to happen. It's the ride of unicorn, man. That's. Oh. What level is a unicorn? Let's take a look. Wurmpedia. And I think I can just look under taming, right? Taming. So it says unicorns, you need 35 to 40 taming. 35 to 40. What is my taming at? Taming's under nature, right? Animal taming is at 29. So I'm getting there. 29, I just need to get to 40. So that's like another 10 taming. I saw Brian was working on taming this morning. And he got his taming up to 40 finally. So he'll be able to ride a unicorn. Or use a charm ruin. Or if being a passenger might work. All good ideas. So maybe Brian can tame the unicorn and I can just ride as a passenger. Let me see. Does it say? How does it say? Ride a unicorn. You can tame or charm a unicorn to be able to ride it. Well, we'll have to go to a rift one of these times and see if we can score a bunch of rift materials. Or after he tames it, he can transfer. You can transfer a tamed animal? I did not know that. I did not know that. We'll have to take a look to see. You know, while I was here, there was one other thing I wanted to try. And that was, somebody was selling a bunch of pickaxes that had some Circle of Cunning on it for 10 copper each. And so I figured, for 10 copper, I'll pick up a couple of these. Gave one to Brian, picked up one myself. Because I wanted to test something that I was reading up, that sandstone is the highest difficulty vein. And I'm going to show you something. I was using this tool. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll bring it up like this. Yep. And it's this tool in the tool belt on the forums. Scroll down a bunch. It's called Wurm Skill Check Skill Gain Simulator. Wow, neato. So you go in here and you find this thing, and what it does is you pick a skill that they have here, which there's not that many, but the ones that matter pretty much. And let's say you want to know what your pickaxe quality, like what your pickaxe should be at for the best skill gain. So the idea behind this is that this will simulate so many actions. So currently it's set to 25,000. It'll simulate 25,000 actions in Wurm. Let's suppose your mining skill is, here, let's see, what is my mining skill? Let's do this for me. So my mining skill is 94.6. So type in 94.6. And my pickaxe skill, where's my pickaxe skill? Under miscellaneous is right here. 96, pretty much 96. So I'll put 96. And my pickaxe quality currently is 22. Whoops, 22. And I am hitting sandstone. And when I hit submit, what it does is it, carries out the 25,000 actions, and it tells you how many of those actions gave you, this particular quality outcome, right? Because we know that you only get skill for whenever you mine something that's above 0 or below 40, right? So only for this, these ones. Every other, the ones that are outside of that, you don't get skill for. So what this tool will tell you is what percentage of those actions, right here, what percentage of those actions would have given you skill gain. Now, you're at the best when you are in and around 52 or 53. You can't really get better than that. Like if I raise my pickaxe quality, let's say I go to 25 and retry that, I'm at 52.4. And if I go to 30, 52.5. So it can go a little bit higher, but not by much. Currently, I have my pickaxe at 22, so I'm going to be at 51.9. And, even if I raise this to, let's say, 1 million, I could probably do 1 million actions here. Let's just see. Still 52% of the actions were giving me skill gain. So I wanted to try out a little skill gain section. Let's go, get rid of that web now. I wanted to try this out and see what happens. Yeah, so the transferring, the taming doesn't always work out. Well, we could try that actually. That seems like a reasonable thing. Okay, so let's see how skilling up is going to be. So I'm going to turn on some sleep bonus. Actually, I'm going to turn on this thing. Is it under terraforming? Mining's there. Okay. Turn on some sleep bonus, and we're gonna go for it. We'll see how many actions we can get in before our stamina runs out. All right. Mining is a great skill for skilling up characteristics. You know, when you're skilling up mining, you get body strength, mind logic. What else do you get? Do you get body stamina? I'm not sure actually. But it's good for mind logic. It's good for body strength. I'm getting body stamina. And I'd say that a lot of my characteristics have come from mining. And look at those gains, 0.0006. But it looks pretty good. I'm getting like mining ticks quite often. And I can queue up 6, so that's pretty good. Let's see how mining's doing. 0.003 so far. Woohoo, things are moving. It's kind of insane to think about how there's people out there who get their mining up to the 99.9995 required for it to show at 100. That's just insane. I feel like I've mined a ton and it's not even close. Hey Hackett, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Just running an experiment right now. Although I should have, you know what I should have done? Oh, this vein is only at 25, so I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do. It would have had to be above 40, because if the shard comes out above 40, then you know you didn't get a skill tick for that. So you can use that knowledge to sort of determine how many skill gains you got. What percentage of the skill ticks gave you skill gain. Maybe I can try some. Maybe I can use Wurm Assistant for that. Let me see if I can pull that up. Where do I have my Wurm Assistant? And I will wonder if I can show that for you guys. How many of you use Wurm Assistant? Does anybody here use Wurm Assistant at all? See, I'm not really a Wurm Assistant type person. I don't usually use it. I can see its benefit is like, you know, there's quite a strong argument for using Wurm Assistant for sure. I just don't for some reason. Let me see. How do I get this so that you guys can see it? Wurm Assistant has detected potential issues with Wurm game client configuration. Follow the instructions below to fix these issues. Oh, hide favor updates. That's the issue. Okay, that's okay. I don't think I have favor updates. What I want to use it for is skill stats, I think. Huh. Oh, I see. Okay, let's see if this is working. And then if it's working, then I will try then to show it. Right. I wish I could show it here. I'm just okay. So I got it working. So let's see if I can show it now. I did not set this up beforehand, so I'm gonna have to try window capture. Maybe it's a window capture. And I'm gonna try to get it going. Right. So I might only be able to do this. Yeah. There we go. You can probably see that now. And let's see if I can make it smaller so it's not taking up so much space on the screen. Okay. So the idea, and forgive me because I wasn't able to show you how I set that up, but Wurm Assistant does a ton of stuff. One of which is a skills tracker. So the idea is you go into the forums and you download Wurm Assistant, and the main page has a bunch of icons, a bunch of buttons that you press, and each one does a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I don't even know how to use half of it for sure. You kind of have to pick a thing that you want to try to use it for, and then just try to learn how to use it. But the one I'm using is called Skill Stats. So when you click that, there's an option to look through all of your logs. Like you can go back through all of your logs and have it just pull out like how much you've skilled up over certain time periods based on the logs. Or you can have it do a live skill tracker, which is what I set it to do. So what it's doing, if you take a look at the window there, is it for each of the skills that you've gained over the last little bit, it tells you, what your skill was at the beginning, what your skill level is currently, and what the average gain per hour is. Now that average gain per hour is the most important piece to this whole thing. So I'm looking at my mining, which is that bottom row there, and it says that if I continued at this rate, my average gain per hour will be 0.043-ish. Whoops. .04 every hour. That is just insane. That is absolutely insane. And I can't imagine that if I used, let's say, a pickaxe that was, I don't know, like 90 or 100 COC on it, I can't imagine that increasing that value too much. I mean, it might go to 0.05 or 0.06 or something like that. But boy, I wonder if I can make it stay on top. Can I make it stay? Like, you guys can see it there. I just can't see it. But man, it's like, yeah, 0.04 it seems like. Every time I get a ticket, it sort of bumps it back up there. I mean, for me, just that average gain per hour is a huge, huge number. Because if you're grinding something, it can sort of tell you what you should expect your skill to be if you just continue going for, however much longer, right? It'll tell you, like, if you go for another hour, you're going to get 0.04 more, which can be valuable. Another thing that it does is it can save all the horse traits in sort of a database sort of way. And it does that by, it's called the Granger. So you activate that. And then you go around and I think you either smile at or you hug or you just do one of the emotes to any one of your horses, and it'll automatically save a bunch of information about that horse to a database. So it makes it for, really easy way of keeping track of your horses and their traits and stuff. What else does it do that I find interesting? Oh yeah, there's one that it gives you sound alerts when certain things happen. So for example, one thing that I used it for was every time that I'd set a timer. Oh no, what was it? What did I do? I think it was I set an alert for when one of my characters became idle. So I would queue up a bunch of actions for them, and then I'd alt-tab over to another character. And when that first character finished all their actions, a little sound alert would come up. So I'd be able to know when to go back and queue up more actions. So that made it really handy. Yeah, there's quite a few interesting things that you can use Wurm Assistant for. They have a calendar. What does that do? I don't know what it does, but okay, so I have to pick my server. Let's see what happens. So release, display as real time. Okay. So once I picked my server, it tells me what's in season, but it's not true. Because it's telling me that Olive is in season. But I know that Olive is not in season. I know Oleander's in season. Let's see. I am on release, right? Yes. Maybe it might not be configured properly. Yeah. It might not be configured properly, I don't know. Or I might be doing something completely wrong. And that's why I'm working on this almanac. I want to get this almanac up and running so that when I read the almanac summary, it tells me, when everything's supposed to be in season. I really like that addition to the game. It's like an in-game way of keeping track of when things are in season. And it's one thing that I'm definitely going to be working towards, and that's forestry. All right, now another big thing to talk about, and this relates to Buddha. Buddha wrote a dev blog. Let me see if I can bring it up. A dev blog regarding development cycle, and this was really interesting to read because it sort of addressed an issue that I felt the games has had with regards to when things get released. See, I had said in a previous show once that I feel like the way that the update cycle is, the way that it seemed like it was going was that each update gave like a little bit more. Like there was like every 2 weeks to every month there'd be an update, and each of those updates were like this tiny little bit of progress. And every so often there'd be a massive update. That would happen maybe once a year or twice a year. There'd be a massive update. But then every couple weeks or so there'd be like little things added here and there. Like this week we get normal specular mapping on animals, and the next time it's like, okay, now your weapons have normal specular mapping, and then we're going to add like this item, and then we're going to add that little thing, and that. It's like tons of little things that add up over time. And if you like look through like a 4-month section of these tiny little updates and just tallied all the little things that were added, it would be impressive the amount, like just like every 4 months you get this amount of stuff, but it just didn't feel like we were getting a whole bunch of stuff because it was all trickling in. So it seems like the plan is to move towards saving those like items. Okay, let me see if I can get this right. It seems like they're moving from a bi-weekly update schedule to a monthly update schedule. That update schedule is going to be planned. So it says it's going to be moving to a more predictable schedule of the last Thursday of each month, plus any necessary hotfixes the week after. Okay, so they're going to a monthly update release to the last Thursday of each month, and then there might be a hotfix like in the week after or whatever. And those updates are going to be rather like small-ish. Let me see if I can see what they say here. This I'm not sure actually. Okay, so here's what it says. Included in this change to the update cycle will be changing our planning and development cycle to shift towards a more predictable pattern of larger content updates, currently planned for a few times a year. Okay, so a few times a year they're going to have a large content update, and then all the rest of the months there'll be sort of smallish contents. Let's see. Because of this, the primary monthly updates might be overall smaller going forward, but that will still include things like bug fixes, tweaks, and changes in smaller content additions as appropriate. The larger updates will be planned around a theme and should include additions or changes to a variety of things in the game, as well as introducing new mechanics and new things to do. That sounds awesome. That sounds really exciting. That now like these large updates are going to be focused more around a theme, which I think is a great way to go. I think that's amazing. I really, really look forward to seeing how this is going to play out. Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan, I must say. So next thing I would hope for, this would be like my wish for this whole thing, would be that in advance of those big updates, we get like a sort of like a plan for them, you know, like, or at least a teaser of what to expect. I'm not even sure if a full out like everything revealed before it gets put in should be the way to go, or whether or not, you know, hints of what is going to be added, and then when it's released it's all just like opening presents on Christmas, you know. It's hard to say which one I would prefer. What about you guys? What would you prefer? Would you prefer not knowing very much about what the update is, and then on the day of release it's like you find out what's going to be added? Or would you rather like a month in advance know about everything that is being released in the upcoming big update? Which would you prefer? For me, it's hard to say. Oh, it's addressed further in the thread, but yeah, we'll be giving out info, etc. before it all comes, building hype and all that. Not going to give out all those plans before the work has started, though. Yeah, I totally understand that. I know, everybody, I know. Everybody wants a 100% everything that you're working on, I know. Which is kind of ridiculous. And I don't think any game ever does that. Ever. Maybe a mix. Yeah. Okay, so Dizzy Lurker, you'd want to know as much as possible in advance. Okay, fair enough. Like, I know there are people who are on that side of the fence who want to know every last detail of everything that's going to get brought into the game as much as possible in advance. I mean, what about if they revealed, like, let's say a month in advance or 2 months in advance, they reveal everything, but then somewhere along the line, they can't, one of the things for one reason or another that was going to come into the game can't come into the game anymore because of some technical issue they found or whatever. Would that be okay? Like, would it be okay if they announced, hey, we're going to be changing the UI to look like this, and then when they actually deliver, it doesn't turn out to be like that because of something that they didn't foresee when they originally, like, would you be okay with that? In Silver Wolf, you say you'd like to know what's being worked on. But I also know from Titch that things don't always go as planned. You can't promise that something's coming out on a certain update, then be surprised that it isn't there. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Right. If everything is perfectly 100% transparent, then you might get excited for something that is planned but then never makes it. And I know that's been an issue in the past. Buddha, sometime later in that thread, somewhere down later in that thread. Here, let me see if I can just pull it up so I'm not just speaking out of my ass. Yeah, so Buddha says, in his opinion, giving out all of those plans and ideas at such an early stage does nothing good, in my opinion. We have years and years of instances we can reference back on when an idea or plan was shared well before it had been started in any meaningful way, and many of those instances led to that project being delayed or outright dropped as other things popped up or took precedence. Yeah. So that definitely has happened in the past. I recall lots of instances of that. And I do know that has caused a lot of outcry from the community about why this or that hasn't been put into the game. And I can also see the effect of those types of threads on the actual development. Like when there's this pressure that we have to have this type of thing inside in the game in this update, and then not being able to deliver on that you get that added pressure when the community is ready to pounce on you. I definitely know a lot of games sort of do an in-between sort of thing where they do teasers and hints at what's coming, but there's nothing like concrete until the moment of launch. See, on the one hand, I'd really want to know what's happening under the hood. But on the other hand, I completely understand, if I did see everything that was under the hood, but then, a particular feature that I want to come in is not happening, I would get upset that it's being neglected. So it is kind of, my hope is that these dev streams provide a middle ground, where things are discussed in sort of a fluid way with no commitment but just discussed, where it'll give you the players an insight into what's happening under the hood without the feeling like what's being discussed is by any means a final plan. Although I suppose people could potentially hold you to what you say on those threads. They can make clips and say, I have you saying these exact words. Yeah. So maybe that's something that you're going to have to emphasize over and over again on your stream, is that what's mentioned there is just like this, we're just discussing it, and by no means can you hold us to what we say. I don't know how you guys are going to deal with that. I'm sure you're thinking about it. So you're cool with giving out plans, etc., but I really want to get away from here's the idea we have and haven't started yet and might not start for 6 months. Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand that. Um, there's definitely a balance that needs to be struck because players kind of need to know that there are plans. Because when players know that there are plans of what's going to happen next, then it adds that level of excitement that they're part of the development of it, you know? That they can look forward to particular things and get ready for them in the game and, get that mental preparation, and it adds excitement around the game when something that you're excited about is about to come into the game. Yeah. But I do understand that you don't want to give hype around something that you can't end up bringing in. All right, I want to kind of see. I haven't checked this Wurm Assistant. You guys probably see it there. Okay, so it looks like we've been bumped up. We are now mining at 0.065 skill every hour. So how many hours until I make it to 99.9? Too many. Too many if you ask me. Yeah. 94.63. That's crazy. What's crazy to me is that I even got it to that skill in the first place. Yeah, I'll be here for a while. For sure. Well, I'm not sure if I'm planning on skilling up all night. I was just kind of curious to do this for a little while and see what kind of mining per hour I could get. After doing this for... How long have I been doing this for? Oh, it says 22 minutes. It's interesting to see the other things going up. It's like my body strength, for example. I'm getting 0.0127 every hour. That's super slow. That's really slow. Oh, you have a few sandstone veins that need to come out? I'm down for that. Like, I totally need sandstone. Totally need sandstone, and I really am the type of person who likes to sit here and mine out veins. I've mined out so many. But usually when I'm fully mining out veins, I don't do it for skill. I mean... If the goal is to mine out the vein, I find that trying to skill up on it just never it never goes well. I don't know. Because you're skilling and you're never going to mine it out. It just takes forever. Like, how long... I've been doing this for 22 minutes, and most of this sandstone that I've got came from me using my high-quality pickaxe. And we're only at 200. So if the goal is to mine it out, I'm just going to use my high quality pickaxe and just mine it out as fast as possible. Alright, well, I'll probably take you up on that at some point or another. For sure. I'm really excited to see how this new dev cycle is going to play out over the long run. I've always felt like Wurm could use those bigger sort of updates because there's always so much being added to the game. It just feels so spread out. Whereas if it all got put together into one big update, it would feel like a massive game changer. But at the same time, I feel like it has to be balanced because you don't want the updates to be too far and few in between. Gaffer's streaming. Oh, that's unfortunate that I'll miss his stream. Maybe I'll catch a little bit on at the end. But Gaffer is another Venn network, I guess, Venn member. But he streams over on Mixer, which is Microsoft's version of Twitch. And in fact, he also lives just down the street, down the road from where we deeded. So he's quite close. I'd almost consider him a neighbor now. Oh, I pressed escape. I didn't mean to press escape. Okay, that's okay. So we finally made a bed that got me some sleep bonus back. And then I also completed one of the journal entries and got another hour of sleep bonus. So feeling like I could spend a bit here doing this. But for a while I was getting scared because my sleep bonus was getting low and I had no bed to get it back. But finally got around to that. And hopefully by next week there'll be more on the deed to show. Because, I feel like things are going a little bit slow. Which is the way it goes. I mean, our style of playing is slow and steady. Over the long haul, we eventually get there. But each little bit takes a while. Boy, oh boy, this goes slow, doesn't it? You hear our neighbors are lovely people? They are lovely people. It definitely felt, if coming here felt really nice. There was a lot of people looking out for us as we came in with no equipment on our back. And it just felt like a nice warm welcome here. And really happy that we made this move for sure. Catspur was on her stream asking if I had any regrets. And I'm like, no regrets whatsoever. Dropping everything was a little bit scary at first. But it's really changed the pace, if you know what I mean. It changed it got to the point where the game was just, we got the tools that we needed. There was no need to move forward on anything related to progression. That's really what it was. There was no way to progress with any significant gains. It wasn't like I can go and get myself the next best shiny pickaxe to make my my mining actions that much faster or whatever. Whereas now we're back in that mode of okay, we gotta work on stuff in order to get better at stuff. And that adds that extra layer of progression and motivation to continue working. I went and I used some of the silver that I foraged to buy a couple items. So I bought this grooming brush from Mukufer. It's my first. This I just bought this before the pickaxes were. I found those pickaxes, but it was my first purchase of a casted item, and I wanted to get a grooming brush so that I can work on my animal husbandry, which I've been working on, which is getting really close to 30. Excited for that, and my main goal is to get it up to 50, so that I can then start getting reliable 5 speeds. We also kind of want to keep working on the hell horses. I'm not sure exactly. Like I like how fast they go, but I don't like how annoying they are. Sure. Streaming overlays? Sure. Well, I'll take a look at those. I'm really not very savvy when it comes to the streaming stuff. Like a lot of what has been put in place here, Brian's put it in place, and I just sort of use it. I'm very bad at, making things look nice. I've tried to be keeping up with the tweeting, which is also something that I'm struggling with. I'm just not a natural. I guess it's because I'm not a millennial. All this technology came in after I was quite old, so tweeting just doesn't come naturally to me. Social media doesn't come natural to me. This whole streaming stuff, I know what to press to get it to go, but aside from that, I'm not very savvy at this sort of stuff. But when you say streaming overlay, you mean I don't know. What do you mean? Like something that can go over? Yeah, I don't even know what a streaming overlay would do. One thing that we've been needing are emotes. Brian whipped a couple emotes together, but I don't think that he doesn't have enough time to make them. Yeah, I am. I know I shouldn't complain that I'm so old, because you're right. I'm not that old. Although, I bet you I'm older than you think I am. I bet. Okay, so boxes where your images go, boxes with social media stuff. Okay, yeah. I can see that. I don't know where on the screen they're going to go, but I see how Casper puts all her boxes. She puts all her stuff all over her page, all over her stream. And they look good. They give you, a lot of information that you might want to know. And she'll have Nightbot every so often saying stuff, which is another thing that I don't do. I've tried to think of what to put there. I'm just not so good at organizing that sort of stuff. And I also wish we had a regular schedule for streaming. I really wish that we were able to nail down a schedule, but it just doesn't seem to fit proper with our schedule. I was ready to go Friday, but Brian couldn't Friday. And then he wanted to do it Saturday, and I couldn't do it Saturday. It was just one of those things. And then we said, okay, well, maybe we'll just do it Sunday. And he's like, okay. And then he started getting sick, and he he says he has a cough. And so that's where it ended up. Okay, so it goes on top of everything. Then you align your camera boxes inside of it. You don't want it to derail your stream, so we can talk about it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's not derailing. All I'm doing here is mining away. I think I'm going to switch to my fast pick now. I want to fill these crates and then get back. Maybe I can start making some bricks from them. I'm going to switch to my fast pick now because So let's see. Where did we end up with? 0.067 mining skill per hour. And we did that for 35 minutes. Yeah, I don't see myself getting that skill up. I really don't. You know, at some point or another, I'm going to probably work on getting some imbue for a pickaxe. You know, getting back to the super uber speeds that I used to get. It's definitely something I want to work towards. I think with my pickaxe back on Xanadu, if I imp it up high enough, then I could do 12 full actions, and they're all under 3 seconds, like in a row. I don't even have to I don't have to wait in between queuing up the first 6 and the next 6. I can just queue them all up and then keep queuing up more, and it all stays under 3 seconds. I suppose one thing that would be nice for the stream is where our text is, like have a sort of a box around it. All right, I'm gonna pause this and I'm gonna put it away. Oh, that brought up something else. Okay, so now actually I can show you this. This was the window that I got before. So when you open up the Wurm Assistant and you click the skill button, you get this window. So over here on this side, can you see my cursor? No, you can't see my cursor. You see where it's like flickering? That's my cursor's going over that. That's where you'll pick a character from this like drop down menu. Oh, you can't even see the drop down menu. That's so weird. Okay, well I see a drop down menu comes out and all of my characters that are in my Wurm folder are here. So I'd pick my character and then you just click start session. Or you can pick a date and it'll look through your logs and it'll get all the information from your logs if you like. Let's see what happens when I get rid of that. Oh, it leaves a big black spot in the middle of the stream. That's messed up. All right, let's fix that. Where is that? Wurm Assistant. There we go. All right, back to fast mining. Which also means sleep bonus off. There we go. All right. Yeah, sure. Post a link. Or do I have to give you permission to post a link? I feel like you should be able to post a link. I don't think... yeah, there we go. Okay, let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh, I see. You put it all on... Okay, I see. Okay, let's see if I can show that. Can I show that if I press this? There we go. Okay, so I really like this. So like just like little things like the Twitter button at the bottom, and then the wooden frames around our pictures. You know, Brian used to have these wooden boxes around our frames, and I accidentally deleted them one time that I was trying to mess around with the stream. I no longer ever delete anything off the stream anymore, but I accidentally deleted them, and they took them a while to make. And the problem that we had with the boxes was that our cameras are different sizes. Like whoever's hosting gets to have the standard default rectangular size on the box. But the other box is a slightly different, weird, it's trimmed weirdly. And so it's slightly different size. So it'd be kind of annoying to try to get it into a fixed size box. Not to mention, Wurm has all these windows that open up. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so you can account for that. Interesting. Sure, that'd be kind of cool. So I'd be down for that. I'd have to spend a little bit of time trying to figure it out after you send it to me how it all works, but I'd be down for trying to figure it out. That'd be very helpful. Thanks, Hackett. Okay, well, I'll try to use it. Like if you make it, I'll use it. Let's put it that way, because anything to make this look better, because I definitely haven't done anything. I remember it was a revelation that we were able to get the text, the chat onto the screen. I still don't think I'd be able to do that on my own. That was all Brian setting that up. So, yeah, any little help that would be greatly appreciated. Totally. Trying to think, was there anything else that we found out in the, weekly news? Trying to remember. Feel that the main thing was the specular map, right? On the character. That was the one thing that I think was announced that we'd never heard of before. Let me go look at the news. So there was... So they're talking about shifting to a new design cycle, which was Buddha's dev blog. Then there's the Wurm dev streams starting soon teaser. Journal tiers got updated. Yes, that was a big one. Although I still don't know, because I don't think I've gotten past where they've updated. I feel like the winding road was still there beforehand, so I'm quite early on that. I gotta get working. But they've hinted that the goals may take a considerable time and effort, but these are intended to be achieved over a long period of time. It's a long road, but you might find it's worth the journey. I'm down for that. I mean, a lot of these seem like a long road for me, but I know a lot of people out there, this stuff is like super easy. Like if you already have your taming skill at the right level and you already have all the materials to make runes because you've visited many rifts before, and many people already have meditation path level 9. Like this stuff is probably super easy for them. And they probably finished all of the, journal entries in a really short period of time. So it's nice to hear that they're going to add journal entries that take a while longer. And then there was this announcement. I'm going to bring it up here. Did that work? Yeah. Look at that. So that's what we're going to look like instead of... get rid of the glove? Where is it? I took the wrong one. Yeah, you see how, there's a big difference between the way that I look in the game. Oh, you can't even see that. You see my arm down there? Like down here? And you compare that to this. I just can't wait. I can't wait till they add this to the game. It's such a small thing, but man, it looks so good. So there was that, and what else was there? So the armor was re-announced, and supposed to be coming very soon, apparently, according to Retro. Also, the rarity glow is going to come. But see, it does feel like a lot of small things, right? Like, am I feeling that right? You know, it seems like a lot of the news recently has been either like normal or specular map updates. What else has been recent? Yeah. I can't really think of anything else that's been recent. So the journal tiers. You know, since the fishing update, I guess they did have a lot of the things related to like the crashing. So there was a whole chunk of dev time trying to deal with Independence crashing and all of that. So that definitely took up a big chunk. There's also the talk of the switching of the servers over to Amazon. So that's something else that's being worked on. Although I don't think we've heard of an update about that recently. I'm sure that it takes a lot more work than it sounds. But it felt like Keenan was on a rampage at one point, working really hard on it. It probably got to a point in the project where it just felt like my guess is that one too many roadblocks were encountered. Come on, let me drink. And that always happens in a project. You know, you hit a couple roadblocks that you can't get by, and then it just grinds the project to a halt. Yeah, Reganation, I totally also get that. That happened just earlier in the stream to me. Yeah, I'm really hoping that gets changed. I saw that thread also get bumped recently regarding that bug. I'm not sure what the issue is, and I'm not sure if it's something that can be addressed at some point by the devs. I kind of feel like it should be. I don't think that many other games have that issue, which makes me feel like it might be the Wurm side of things and not Java in general. And yeah, Amazon Web Services is apparently something that the team is looking into, putting Wurm Online completely on these Amazon Web Services, so we don't have to worry about. From what I understand, it allows them to remotely reboot servers, so they don't have to rely on Hesner or whoever else is sitting at the wheel. The hope as well is to reduce lag. I'm not sure if that's something that can be done. What makes me wonder, I wonder if there's the possibility or the opportunity to host servers. It's like some servers in different locations, right? Like maybe make, one or two of the servers a North American server, for example. I'm not sure how Amazon Web Services work, but it sounds to me like the server is in a cloud somewhere. I see. So you use the. Let me see. I did set that up at some point. The free look mode. Let me see. I wonder if I hit settings, it's gonna close my screen. Yeah. So let me see. There is that option to make it so that, is it under keybinds and under HUD maybe? No, or maybe action. Oh my goodness. Toggle. All of this seems like HUD stuff, which makes sense. Maybe it is movement. Toggle free look mode. Okay. So I have it set to Control Z. Okay, let's cancel that. And then I'm going to have to... try that. Okay, that worked. So Control Z. There we go. Whoa, that's very sensitive. Okay. So if I... Let's try this for a little bit. So we have a free look mode now. I wonder if I can get through this. What would happen? Okay. Oh, I got a diamond. How do I get that diamond in free look mode? I have to come out of free look mode, don't I? Yeah, I do like the idea of it. I like the running around and like wherever my cursor's pointing, that's what what I'm gonna use. So I don't have to worry about. See, I don't even know, because if I'm not in free look mode, I can just hover my mouse over it and press the button 2. The issue comes when you are trying to interact with the UI, right? And then you got to change to this mode and then change back. Right. You're using space. I'm using Control Z, which is not that bad. You got to get the mouse. To get the mouse, you need to leave free look mode. Yeah. Single key, yeah. Or maybe even make one of the buttons on the mouse do it, right? The other problem that I'd have to work on, and this is only personal issue, is that I have my DPI set really low. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, so when I'm free looking like this, I want to be able to have a low DPI. Ooh, diamonds, yeah. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. A 25 quality one. So my issue is that if I switched out, my mouse is like, I gotta move my mouse a whole bunch to get it across the screen. I'd have to work on my sensitivity. So I do have buttons on my mouse that change the sensitivity. This is the one that I use for Wurm, this sensitivity. I wonder, but then when I go to free look, it goes way too fast. So maybe, let's see, settings. There was a free look sensitivity. Let's bring that down. Okay. Okay, that worked. Hey, Yankee. So you mean all those rubies I mined at your deed were worthless? And Hackett, you're saying you had your DPI set low as well to try to counter the crazy mouse issues. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. You use this mode to prevent the issue of where you start looking like crazy directions. Interesting. Yeah, I can see that it would. Oh, did I get another gem? I did. I got an emerald. Yep, she'll take those too. Yeah, this is on a low quality vein, so I'm getting low quality gems. But see, I'm figuring I'm only making bricks that will be used to make houses, so the quality doesn't really matter too much for me. You have worn out several wireless mice out on Wurm, yeah. You know, I was kind of thinking about getting myself a wireless mouse. Currently, I'm using a wired mouse. It's the Logitech G501 or whatever it is. I really like it. I like the button layout on it. And I started looking at the new Logitech wireless one, the 903 or whatever it is. 901, I can't remember. And the one thing that I have an issue with is that it has less buttons on the mouse. I think everything else would be amazing, but, you know, less buttons on the mouse is a problem. I definitely like having 2 buttons that are dealing with sensitivity adjustments and 2 more buttons for things like, you know, hotkeys. You're taking note of all the gems I'm mining. Yeah. And I just ran out of beer. So I'm going to take a quick break while I go get another drink. And so I will be back. You know what I'll do? I'll wait for these actions to finish, start myself on 6 more actions, and I will be back. All right. So the last mouse you bought, Buddha, came with a mouse pad that charges it while you use it. So yeah, that new Logitech one I was looking at also had that mouse pad that you can buy with it. But for some reason, in Canada, if you want to buy that mouse pad, it costs like $200. But if you were in the States and you wanted to buy that same mouse pad, it would be like $60. Which I thought was a ripoff. I was looking it up, and for some reason, it has something to do with the distribution of this mouse pad in Canada. So Enki, you're saying you're using a Logitech Marathon, and you don't have on-the-fly DPI adjustment, but how did I ever live without hyper-scrolling? What is hyper-scrolling? Right, and a VR headset using the Gear VR controller. Yeah, you know, Brian tried Wurm in VR on his headset, and he said it was fine, except for the UI was the problem. Like, interacting with the UI is the problem. Like, moving around seemed fine, but then if like I wanted to drink from this container, that was the problem. And also he was saying like the resolution on the UI wasn't so good either. So it was taking up a lot of space. Okay, so there's a metal scroll wheel that runs through your lists. I see. Okay. So that's the hyper scrolling, a metal scroll wheel that runs through your lists. Interesting. That makes me wonder how that would work exactly. I mean, for me, any mouse works for Wurm. Wurm is a very straightforward. It doesn't need too much accuracy. But where I really appreciate my mouse and its accuracy is when I'm playing Overwatch or some game where, you know, split second pinpoint accuracy is super important. Okay, so it's a heavy wheel. I see. So yeah, mine has a similar sort of thing where I click a button and then when I spin the wheel, it just like spins like crazy. Like it has very little friction, and then I press the button again, and it's now has a little clicker. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. I do like that feature. I really do like that feature. So Enki, when they start up the dev streams, are you gonna join in on that? And Willow, I'm betting Buddha, you'll be on there, right? Or is it just gonna be Retro, all in his lonesome? I must say, I'm really, really curious and cannot wait to start watching these dev streams. You know, I bet I'm gonna find myself doing the same thing I do with the weekly news or the bi-weekly news. Ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah, that would make good streaming content. You guys go do one of the encounters, or just always do the encounters on stream. That would be awesome. Yeah, well, of course yeah. Obviously. Well, I suppose the hope would be that, you know, you get devs on there to talk about devy stuff. I truly think it's going to make a big difference in how news is going to get disseminated. You know, it's going to be a lot more open and clear cut. People can ask questions and you can answer them like, you know, in sort of a discussion sort of way, as opposed to how it's done on the forums, which is a lot of flame throwing and, you know, people getting upset. I feel like it'll make that discussion a little bit more fluid. Oh, Willow, you have an accent. What kind of accent is your? Where are you from? Typos in your accent. Oh, well, if you sound like Mary Poppins, then everybody will understand you. That's such a nice accent. Very proper sounding. Yeah, all Q&As eventually turn into, do you like my suggestion? Yeah. But that's okay, you know, like, I really, like, at least this is something that Brian and I always like to talk about, is just random, off-the-hip suggestions. You know, like, we know that half the things we suggest are just, like, not good. Not good suggestions. But, I mean, it would be amazing to watch, you know, you guys go through like a brainstorming session, you know, where you'd have to go into it with like the disclaimer that nothing that's discussed here is set in stone or anything like that. But just, I'd like to hear like the way that you guys think and random suggestions for the game that might actually turn into something that is worthwhile. Hey, Perry Hellion, how's it going? Yeah, he watches the stream and asks about the village system, for sure. Okay, so British, but not posh British. I think that British accents, nobody would have problems understanding British accents unless it was something like a Cockney accent, a really strong, harsh Cockney accent. Those ones are hard to understand. So I know that the streams are coming soon, the dev streams are coming soon, but how soon? How soon should we expect these dev streams? Like, within the month? Should we expect to see one in May? And it would have to come with a disclaimer that this channel may include brand new vulgar words that would be banned in real life. Before Christmas 2006, of course. Of course. Well, I'll keep my ear to the ground for it. All right, where are we? We're just starting our third bin. Boy, this is going slow. It's, I'm just not used to this speed. You know, I'd say like normally I feel like I'd go twice as fast as this. Like in the sense that I'd get like a 2.7, 2.7, 2.8, 2.8. Those would be sort of like my normal times. And then I'd be able to continue queuing up. I wouldn't have to wait for my stamina to regen. I'd be able to continue going for 12 full actions of that sort of 2.7, 2.7. But if I did that here, it would definitely start going up to like 6 point something or whatever. But it's good. I feel like a lot of things, I need to work on a lot of things. Like one thing that I thought today was I need to get myself a smelter. Because at some point or another, I'm going to start mining out iron at like great rates. And I'm going to need a smelter to keep up with me. So I think the current plan is for the rest of this stream is I'm gonna fill up this last crate. We're gonna head on back to the deed, and I'm gonna start cutting these bricks. Now these bricks are gonna be used for our storage facility. And the plan is that this storage facility is going to sort of like, it's going to double up as like a bulk storage crafting place where we can we'll have a mortar station, a brick making station, we'll have like storage for our dirt, and then anything else, like all of our metal, like I'll have a bin for nails and ribbons and all that stuff like that, and we'll have a place for all the logs, and a station where we can be cutting our planks and making those bulk materials. So it's going to be a massive storage / bulk materials place. I might even set up a station where it's just like a couple forges and a bins just filled with low-level iron. So it'll be sort of set up so that I can just make nails or make ribbons or those types of things. I'm feeling like I'm going to be moving towards sort of like a system where there's going to be tons of stations, and each station should have all the things for the thing that station is for. So like I'll make a station that's simply for making bulk metal items like nails and things like that. So that station is going to have everything. It'll have like anvils specifically for the nail making and ribbon making and those sorts of things. And then I'll have my regular smithing stations that's specifically meant for imping. I've never set up my deeds this way. I've always had like one smithing station that like did everything related to smithing. But yeah. Enki, you made it into my local. You're not like here. There's a smelter named Enki here.
Hello, how are you?
How's it going? At least you didn't freak me right out like Willow did last stream, where I turned around and there was a blue dragon coming for me. Thanks, Willow. Yes, I will. Really, it's hard to say because like, and it's the same thing like happens all the time. Like I'll be doing something and somebody will say, "Hey, like, you need any help with that?" And I'm like in this situation, for example, I'm filling up these crates. I'm at the last crate, and then I'm gonna just go back and cut some bricks. So I think I'm okay here. I see. Well, I don't need a smelter for sandstone. At some point I'm gonna be working on mining out some of the veins on my deed. That's what I'll need a smelter for. Fish 35. What's the best server for a new player right now? That's like a really good question because I hear that question a lot. And it's one of the first, like, it's a big major decision for a new player. And I think the answer is it depends. It depends on what kind of play style you are interested in working on. So, as a new player, is your intention to seek out other people to play with and to try to, like, settle in an area where there's like lots of people around to help you out, or to be like, or are you the type of player who wants to sort of like strike it out on their own and experience the game sort of like not like 100% alone, but like more isolated, the hermit style play where you make your own deed, and you're the only one who's going to be on your deed, and you don't really want too many people around nearby. Um, the other questions are like, do you want to settle near the water, or do you want to settle inland? So the first option sounds better. More players. Hey, Dude Jensen, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so currently the most populated server is Xanadu. It's also the largest server, so that means that it has a lot of empty space. So it has like a little bit of the best of both worlds. There's a lot of people, but then there's a lot of open space. You might be able to find a decent spot near the water, but I think in this game most most places near the water have already been deeded, so it won't be like pristine land. Xanadu has a ton of pristine land. Like if you want to like go out into the middle of a forest, Xanadu has a ton of that. But I'd say every server has like a little bit of space. I'd say that it's very like new land. What is good about Xanadu is that there are large area, like there's pockets of areas that have a lot of active players. Like if you go near the let me see on the map. It's in the Greymead area. The Greymead area has a whole bunch of people. The Lormere area has a ton of people. I think the Summerhold also has like a big group of people. If you're looking for, settling near a group, like a large populated area, what you should do is go onto the forums and look for places that people are sort of recruiting into alliances. Now, Xanadu is not the only server that's well populated, but it's the one that has the most diversity in terms of the amount of communities that are around. Like we were part of an alliance that was sort of focused in this vicinity over here, and there was like a good like 50 or 60 active deeds in there. Not to mention like a specific deed that was used to recruit into the alliance, to recruit new players. So it was like a new player deed. So they had a pretty that alliance is pretty impressive. If you're looking for like more of a small town sort of feel, like currently we're on release, and release doesn't have that much activity. Like let's see right now. Let's do a /who in the game. So it says there's 34 people online on Pristine right now. Whereas if you were on Xanadu, you might have more like 150, definitely over 100 people, if not 150 people. But of course, Xanadu is 16 times the size of Release. Right, so 16 of these little servers the 16 of these fit inside of Xanadu. So like there's pros and cons to both. As a new player, I don't think there's a wrong choice. Definitely not a wrong choice. You may get the game tomorrow. This game is just such a phenomenally deep and rewarding game. It's definitely worth anybody's time to try this game, especially if you're fans of the sandbox genre. It's, in my opinion, the best sandbox. So Will, you're not good with the newbies? Taking them under your wing and showing them the ropes? You can get them to take care of your seal pen. Yeah, Xanadu does offer a lot of space. But they're on the flip side, because it's such a large server and there's so many, mobs that the server has to keep track of. Some people claim that Xanadu has a little bit more lag. Yeah, Narias, how's it going? So you're saying the same. Thank you for that sub, Narias. So yeah, the lag on Xanadu. I was on Xanadu for a good couple years, and the lag never really bothered me too much. There were times where there was like more than the usual lag, but when it was just regular lag, it didn't really bother me too much. Like, it's really a matter of like between the time that you right click and the time that the menu comes up. Like on this server, you kind of see it for a very split second, where at the bottom here it'll say refreshing. There'll be like a bar going across where you can see that right for a split second. On Xanadu, I would say it was at most double that. Like, it just sort of like went, like you can kind of see it for a second. But it never really bothered me too much. Even on release, it's there. Like, you can see that there's like a little bit of a lag. And there's a little bit more lag, right? So in terms of like how much more on Xanadu there was compared to, let's say, release, it's not so much more that it makes or breaks the game, But I can definitely say that if you're coming from Wurm Unlimited for some reason seems to have very, very little lag on most servers. Like super, supremely little lag. And you come over to Wurm Online and it's noticeable. Yeah, take advantage of the new tutorial. I'd agree that the new tutorial is superior to the previous one in that in a relatively short period of time, it basically runs you through everything that you possibly could need to know as a new player. Plus, it comes with a couple little rewards, so I think it's worth doing. Yeah, those poor hamsters. Not to mention that those poor hamsters are all the way across the ocean from me. I think that it's incredible how a signal from my mouse can travel across the ocean and back to me in the time that it takes for that little thing to refresh. Like, that's just insane to me. So the fact that it takes any time at all, that it feels almost instant. It's just crazy. Yeah, and on EXO you didn't feel any of that lag, Norias? Yeah, when I was on Delhi a long time ago, there was way more lag than there is now. When we first started playing, there was an insane amount of lag. And then that lag got worse and worse and worse over time, to the point where that refreshing would happen for a good 3 or 4 seconds every single time. And then, so this was way before they added like celebration even. So at the time, I think there was only EXO, Delhi, Independence, and Chaos. And the lag was bad. It was pretty bad. And then something changed. Like, they changed something about the hardware, and it fixed it. And it hasn't been nearly that bad ever since. Neo, I see. Buddha, Keenan, and Samul took away your lag stick. Yeah. I mean, that's just great that the lag has gotten so much better, since then. I'm super happy about it. And I know like Xanadu is such a big server that it's just bound to have some lag in comparison to the rest of the servers. Okay. Are we there yet? Close. We need 29 more. Right. Okay, so that's different lag. When you have charcoal piles, so there's a difference between server lag and processing lag. So the frames per second is going to cause, like if that frames per second drops too low, that's going to cause the type of lag that appears when your screen looks like it's sort of stuttering when you're trying to move. So it's not a smooth, So that kind of lag will happen when you have too many decorations in the area or too many particle effects going on in the area. That could cause performance lag, which is literally your computer struggling with rendering the stuff on your screen. But that's going to be completely different lag than the one that I'm talking about, which is the time it takes for the signal when I click a button, the time it takes for that click to be registered on the servers, where the Wurm servers are set up. And then the Wurm servers have to send the signal back to my computer that it's been received. So it's that type of lag that I'm referring to. Wait, where am I? I still need more of these. Right, yeah. How do I add the skill tracker to my screen? So like this skill tracker up here, this one. So that is under settings in your HUD settings. And then one of the options is skill tracker. So it's like that button. That's in the game. Yeah, the States, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in Canada, so it's pretty much, we should probably get the same amount of lag in terms of how long it takes to send the packets. Yeah, that skill tracker is, I have it open almost always while I'm playing the game. Currently, I have it set to this one because these are the skills I'm working on. And as you can see, I've almost got my animal husbandry to 30. It's slow going, but it's going. Because I think when we arrived onto the server, I think it was at 24 or something like that. And so I've been working on it. It's bad when you get schooled like that. I did not know we had a skill tracker in game. What, you didn't know that we had a skill tracker in the game? If this skill tracker showed the average, what's that? Like that, how when I had the Wurm Assistant up, it showed skill gain per hour. I think that's the only thing that the skill tracker could use. If they can add skill gain per hour, that would be great. So you're thinking of moving off Xanadu. Any server I would recommend? Well, let's take a look. Deliverance used to be my home, so I know that server very well. And I really loved Deliverance. Deliverance was great. But I can't say what it's like nowadays, because I was living on there right just shortly after Deliverance opened. That's when I very first started playing the game, and I joined Deliverance at that time. Since then, I think it was at that time Deliverance would see a daily, like a population. When you would do a /who, it would be always over 100. So it was very active. I think nowadays it's very quiet on Deliverance, so it's a very different server nowadays. I know there's a pretty big resurgence of people playing on Celebration. Whoops. So people are playing on Celebration nowadays. We were debating between Celebration or Release when we decided to come. And we ended up on Release for a couple reasons. One was that it was a little bit quieter of a server compared to Celebration. And number two, we were informed that this area over here would be a great place to look for the neighbors. And so, yeah. Ultimate Savior, what's up? Yeah, no Brian tonight. No Brian. He last minute canceled on me. He has a cough, so where are we on the map? We are somewhere in this vicinity over here, like on this peninsula. So our deed that we planted is on the left side, facing inwards into the inner sea. Ooh, another gem. But there's actually quite a bit of space up here. I was looking through this area up here, and there was some nice isolated spots, but I determined that they were too isolated for us. There's a lot of development in this vicinity down here, and along the outside coast here there's a lot of development. But we found ourselves a nice little spot that was abandoned. It was terraformed, so it wasn't pristine land. Oh, my hell horse is attacking me. I thought I was far enough away. Let's make sure I don't hit it by taking off my weapon there. So you met up with him on Friday. Maybe he got it from you. Yeah, maybe. So you used to live on Mercury Lake. I'm not 100% familiar with all the names. Yeah, Willow. Truly, we have no use for these, to be honest. At least right now, because we don't have any of our priests over here. And I'm really trying the whole, don't bring my priests over here because that might be cheating. But, I'll be honest, I really miss my priests. I really, really miss my priests. I'm just taking a look at the community map here for a second just to see where Mercury Lake is. Okay, so Mercury Lake is in the southwest-ish. And that's actually where we got spawned in. We asked to be brought to a random spot on Release, so Retrograde, he used his GM powers to randomly teleport himself. Or I think he used path of what's the path that makes you just teleport to a random spot? It must be Path of Insanity. So he used that to go to a random spot, and then he teleported us to that spot. And that's where we ended up, in the southwest corner, right next to Mercury Lake. So we ended up running all the way over to here from that spot. Yeah, if they come over, that's how I'm feeling. But, we kind of wanted to rough it and having the ability to cast, WOA and Circle of Cunning and all that felt a little bit like cheating. But I feel like once we got ourselves established and get to the point where the next step is to get casted gear, I feel like if I bring over my priest naked, like you say, then I don't see anything wrong with that. But well, I'll think about it. I know that Brian is kind of against it only because he's not the priest guy. He would never have spent the time that I spent on getting the priest up. He would be perfectly happy with just regular tools, and every so often getting like a random tool with some kind of cast on it. Oh, right, if I started a new priest from scratch. I mean, the time investment to get a priest to the point where it can cast is just not to mention how frustrating it is to try to cast something with a priest that only has like 50 or 60 channeling. And my priests, I worked on them from scratch, both of them, pretty much. The Najo priest was another, it was a friend's character, and she stopped playing, so I took over that account. And at the time, it wasn't a priest. It was just, I think it had very good animal husbandry. It had really good rope making. And like some regular skills, like some carpentry skill and digging and that stuff. And jewelry smithing. Those were the main skills that were on this. And I turned it into a Najo priest. And since then, I got its channeling up to like, probably the channeling is about 75, and the faith is well above 80 now. So I'd say that priest is still a work in progress, but my Venora priest, also from scratch, I got her channeling up to 94, I want to say 93 and a half. Probably not 94 yet. It's probably 93 and a half, and her faith is at 100 now. Finally got it back up to 100. Maybe do a lib priest. That's true. They did allow lib priests to come to freedom, but no Strongwell is like a... It makes you want... Like, it makes you... not having Strongwell on Libela definitely reduces the... What's the word? The draw. At some point or another, having a strong-welling priest over here would be very beneficial for us. Yeah, make a community priest. I mean, I've seen communities that sort of set up a priest like that. Willow, you're in local. I wonder whose deed this is. There's like a lot of rare statues. And I love the look of the archery tower, even though I know it's just a decorative piece. Yeah, see, that's what we did. We kept our deed on Xanadu. But again, that deed is housing all of our stuff. Like, we have a ton of stuff that we just dropped it all and left it there. We came here with nothing. And I'm not sure, like, bringing our priest over means that we still need to have a character over there that is holding all our stuff. And I think currently right now it's our priests that are holding all of our stuff, so we'd have to do sort of like some organization over there. Hey, you see your building? Yeah. Is it Dark Moon Rising? This one, is this yours? Yeah, we're running now right next to our places. Or is that it right up there? That's your place? Where am I? I'm getting myself lost. Yeah, I gotta go this way a little bit more. Okay. We are accepting gifts. We've been given quite a few gifts, actually. And we are accepting gifts. So, like, this chain set here was made by Blob, who's a neighbor. So he gifted that to us. I forget the name of the person who gifted us these weapons, but somebody had mailed us these weapons that were casted on. So that was very, very much appreciated. We were given some animals. Silverwolf kindly gave us a breeding pair of horses. On one of the first days that we got here, we got a Canadian care package that came with. Let me see if I can find it. What did I do with it? Right, a couple of leather adventure hats named RCMP, and there was some food that was like maple bacon, and all sorts of other fun things. Oh, there was like a cloth armor set that when you put it on, made you look like the Canadian flag. Who was that? I think it was Explora who gifted that stuff to us. That was awesome. So in terms of, I think weapons were okay on because we got those huge axes, and not to mention there was a bunch of other weapons that like a bunch of people helped us out with some weapon stuff. Is there a tool? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll have to think on that. Oh, and another one that came like as a complete surprise. I think it was Folk who sent this thing. It was 100 quality cat pelt with 101 COC and 101 Wind of Ages. Game of Thrones time. Well, enjoy. I'm waiting for Game of Thrones to sort of like get through a bunch of episodes before I sort of binge watch them. Oh yeah, totally. Send me a sneak peek of what you're thinking there on the stream stuff, and I'll take a look at it and try to get it to work. Yeah, I know it is a folk enchant for sure. Okay, so what I'm gonna do? Can I pull this over? Okay, I'm gonna use this bin for. And what kind of stone chisel do I have? What's in here? My stone chisel. Okay, my stone chisel is 50 some odd. That's not bad. And let's get working on some bricks. 7.5. I could probably imp my stone chisel a little bit. You think you got an idea for what to send me? Okay. Oh, thanks, Willow. That's exactly what I always wanted. A bag to store your gems in. Yep, Game of Thrones has definitely been an ongoing thing in my life too. I look forward to it every year. But I have a real hard time watching TV nowadays when it's an episode that comes out weekly and they always end on cliffhangers. I just can't do it anymore. Now that I've been spoiled with the experience of being able to watch all of the shows all at once. Don't beg for the shinies, let them shower you with them. That is good advice. I wish I had more. There's only 3 here. Oh wait, I do have more, and I put them away in it. Though I don't. Without the priest here, I look at the gems like they're pretty useless. So I put them in a chest somewhere. You just wait for the summaries on the internet. I see. Yeah, I mean, I never read the books, so I'm not too well versed in like the difference between the show versus the books, or I'm not too like hung up on them having to get it just right to match the books. But I do understand that feeling when they say things like this. They're going to stretch it out a few more years, but the books are like it's gone ahead of the books now, So I wonder if he's going to keep writing the books based on what happened in the TV show. I can't see that going well. I really can't. Oh, it replaced my stone chisel in there. Let's move this stuff over. But see, the summaries on the internet are such a spoiler. They spoil it. I should really have put this meat away before it got that rotting tick. I think I'll just put it here for now. I think it'll rot less slowly than in my inventory. Same with the eye. Oh, the eye got a tick. I just picked those up earlier before the stream. Star Trek, the original series. Star Trek is the new one. Is another one that I've been waiting for it to finish. Star Trek Discovery. I think that's the next one on my list to start. I'm going to start watching Star Trek Discovery. And then once that's done, it'll probably be perfect time to start Game of Thrones. I will. I'll totally let him know. And thanks you for tuning in. I know that it's so late for you guys over on the other side of the ocean. Like, what is it? It's 10:30 now here, and it's got to be at least 5 hours ahead. So yes, it is getting quite late. Bye, Willow. Have a good night. Snowballs. I'm wondering how the sandstone is going to look in contrast to the rest of the buildings. Like, we have a timber building, we have this wooden building, and then we're going to have a sandstone building. My feeling is that this place is going to look all hodgepodgey for a while until it gets an overall structure to it. But that's okay. 4 a.m. Yeah. Very early. I mean, for me, once it hits around that time, I'm like getting into the wake up zone. That's around, like, I probably wake up around 5:30 to get ready for work. And boy, does that come early in the morning, I tell you. That time comes way too quick. I must say though, I'm really excited for these dev streams. It's like I almost, every time I get down to my computer, I turn on Twitch just to see what's going on. So Twitch has become my new TV. I watch a lot of Twitch, I'd say, compared to TV for sure. And one thing that I'm getting really into is watching the performing arts and music category. Because there's some really talented people, really talented musicians playing on Twitch, and they're doing it in a very professional way. They're making it their career performing on Twitch. And it's very entertaining, some of them. They got the whole system down pat. One stream that I really, really recommend is they're called A Couple Streams, and it's a couple who, like a husband and wife couple, who are extremely talented, like so talented, and they set up their stream so professionally, and it's super entertaining to watch, and they're just great music. And they stream 3 times a week. Yeah, you follow them? Yeah. And they're just like, it's just so great. It makes you feel like you're watching an intimate concert. And I feel like this is the future for small independent bands to get exposure. Because you can just turn on a stream and you can get an audience of even a handful of people. If a handful of people are watching you willingly, that's like better than a lot of like gigs you can get. When I was younger, we did a lot, like I was in a few bands and did a bunch of shows, and there was a lot of times where you're really like playing for only a handful of people, and the rest of the people that are in the audience are like the other bands that are going to go on after you or who had just finished going on. So there's like a lot of times where you're really not playing for all that many people, but if you can turn on a stream and get 25 people watching you, that's like a captive audience. And if you can grow your audience that way, through Twitch. So these guys, A Couple Stream, they are they're just bringing in tons of people just simply by how entertaining they are and how much effort they seem to be putting into their stream. So it's great. You found ETC Kid through them. He improvises music from the chat. Interesting. ETC Kid, I'll have to check that out. And Bob Ross, yeah. The way I understand Bob Ross is that he's like ASMR before there was such a thing as ASMR. You know, just like the chill, relaxed voice with the brush strokes and the... I mean, it makes sense why so many people loved him. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I must say, like, at first I really was skeptical of this ASMR stuff, but I think I'm one of the type of people who are affected positively by it. You know how they say, like, some people don't really get any effect, but there's other people who, like, respond in a way to it? I think that I respond, like, positively to it, in that it really relaxes me. Like, to a really high level of relaxation. It's like almost like tingly. My entire body feels like it's just releasing stress. And it's all coming from just sound, which is really weird. It's very weird. Yet I can't deny that it does something, because it does something, for sure. You know what? I just realized that we're going to have to make a whole bunch more mortar. It's like we got to make the bricks and mortar in order to make the building that we're going to store the bricks and mortar in. All you get is raccoons going through the trash, owls screeching out the window, coyotes howling at you, and chainsaws during the day. Yeah. But how about during the night? Hey, Alan Key, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I know. We always need more mortar. It's true. Definitely gonna have to spend some time trying to figure out how to get, you know, get to the point where we can get back our stock. I mean, it's, on the one hand, it's really frustrating just knowing how many materials we have back at the Xanadu deed. That sandstone, right? Probably. I mean, I just went and mined out a bunch of sandstone, but not nearly enough, I'd say. We probably have enough for just over 1,000 bricks. But yeah. Sure, and you're delivering. Awesome. So yeah, totally. Alan Key, remind me what your character's name is. I could probably guess it. Let me double check here. Oh, it's Alan Key. Of course it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put unload. Unload. Fuzzy Rubric. Thanks for that sub. 7 months in a row. Wow. 7 months. That's crazy. Thank you so much for that sub. And what was I doing? I was doing something here. I think the unload will do it. Yep. You know what it is with the characters, we've had quite a few people come by with different names. And I'm trying to keep them all straight, having a real hard time. I feel like I think it's Lionix and Malachi are the same person. And then Marlon was over and he was helping you. So Alan Key and Marlon were over here helping out with the digging, right? And hold on, let's see how that went, because that was like incredible. I logged out and logged back in, and it was like all of this back here got dug down all the way to the free shack. All of this area got dug down, so that's awesome. I then extended the deed all the way back to here. So this tile here is the last deed in our tile in our deed, and then that puts the whole free shack in our perimeter. So the hope is that because it's in our perimeter, it will start decaying faster and faster. Crossing my fingers. Yeah, so now that whole area is flattened. Thank you so much for that. We kind of want to keep things a little bit on different levels, but this area is great all flattened out, because we're going to make some big areas for animals, like pens for animals, and potentially the farm will also go up here. So having it flat is perfect. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to turn this guy around. All right, where was I? Slate. I would probably say yes. We probably could use some slate as well. Yeah. So slate, yeah, any of the bricks that could be used to make houses, I think we're gonna, or like bridges and that sort of stuff, we're gonna try to use a little bit of everything. So yeah, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, there's no rush on it. Don't even have to rush, because we're taking it slow. In terms of like building the next building, which is the storage building, we still have a lot of time. I have to make all these bricks, and then we're gonna have to collect the materials for the mortar and start making mortar, and I'm not even sure what kind of building we're thinking here, but it's a potential of at least 2,000 bricks and mortar type building. So we'll see. Oh yeah, sure. Did we not do that last time? There. Should have sent the request. We are going to allow... See, here's the thing. We're like, you're right. If we wanted to go like 100% full tilt, we'd have to make everything ourselves. I'm not 100% sure if that's what we're going to be doing. However, we are definitely making it a requirement that if we are going to buy materials, it is only using money that we've made after we got here. So we'll have to go doing some foraging or something, or we'll have to make some things to sell in order to make the money to buy stuff. Right, exactly. We were using the silver that we made from when we got here. So right off the bat, when we were foraging at the beginning, we made like maybe almost 2 silver worth of coin just from foraging right at the beginning. So I used some of that to buy those pickaxes that I showed earlier, which were like 70 casted pickaxes that somebody was selling them for 10 copper. And then I also bought a grooming brush because that's one of the main skills I want to work on. And that was only like 30 copper or something like that. Hey Lionx, welcome. So you can do some enchants on my chisel. Some Wemp would be handy if you want to trade. Okay, Wemp. We do have a little bit of Wemp. However, Brian's been slacking on the farm because he got busy in the last couple of weeks. So and we also wanted to move the farm. So in the process of moving it, we've stopped the farm. I'll have to check to see what kind of Wemp stores we have. But yeah, totally. The chisel I'm using as well is like a really crappy chisel. It's only like 50 quality. In fact, I haven't gotten around to imping a lot of my stuff. The only one that I really spent a lot of time on is my pickaxe. And I think my shovel I got to 80. And my saw. Yeah, my saw. Because I had intended to like sit and cut a ton of planks. And I think for one of my journal entries, I need to... Let's see here. I need to harvest 5 cotton, so that's one other thing that I need to get around to. So we need to really set up this farm again so I could get working on that. Are there any other farming ones? I don't think so. Harvest 50 herbs, so that's all gardening. Yeah, so everything else should be okay. $73.65 mining. Well, grats on that. That's mining is one of those skills that just can suck your soul away. You know, between 70 and 80, yeah, it's tedious for sure. Between 70 and 80, I got all that skill doing surface mining. But see, that was all like because of Autumn Twilight. You know, we had like that big project. Very motivated to complete the project, so I just put on my skilling pickaxe and mined a ton. And it gave me decent surface skills. It actually went decently fast. Like it was very surprising how good surface mining was for skilling up. Yeah, like you'd think that, but I think it was worse. Like surface mining didn't give nearly as much skill when it was like lower, when my skill was lower. But once you get up to about 70 or so, surface mining starts actually giving you consistent skill gain. At least that's how it was when I was there. They definitely made a change to surface mining since then, where they made it more likely to like succeed. But I'm not sure if that affects skill gain. And weaponsmithing is definitely the one that does it for me too. Weaponsmithing has always been a skill that I've wanted so bad. And I would go on like massive stints of grinding my weaponsmithing. And then it would just get to me to the point where I'd stop. But I think I hit a major milestone, and that was getting my weaponsmithing to 70. So it's currently almost at 72 now. Yeah, I know. 1 point a day, though. Yeah, I know that. Like, it's like you have to be weaponsmithing a lot to get 1 point a day. At that point, yeah, that's 63. I mean, doing one session where you get 1 point, but then trying to keep that up daily is another thing. Sure, Linux. I'll send it on over right after I'm done here. Maybe that'll be the last thing I do at the end of the night on the stream, which is coming soon. It's getting there because we're already almost at 11 p.m. Goodness, time just flies. Time just flies. So you're doing spears, right? Because you can put COC on a log, yeah. See, yeah, and affinity food. That's how I had my setup before I left. I did my big stint of weaponsmithing to push for that 70, and I even pushed it past to get to about 72. So what I did instead to get around the issue of tempering, was I took my Venora Priest and I casted on 20 weapons, casted COC on 20 weapons. And I just if it landed at a 60 or so, I just left it at 60. But I even got a couple casts that were really high. Like I got a couple high 90s and a couple 100 casts on COC. So I just I casted on 20 weapons, got half decent casts on most of them, and then I just imped those. And that way the tempering action would get the COC from the weapon. One of those, yeah. So Enki, I take it then that means you haven't done any weaponsmithing? Right. You're at 63, and in a month you'll be at 93, right? Right. I mean, I had a good friend, Kaneka, who doesn't play nearly as much anymore. Let me see. I see her every so often log in. Anyway, she did the whole... There she is, 28 hours ago. Okay, so she logged in recently. She did the whole hardcore leveling up her weaponsmithing. And I observed her, how she did it the whole way from beginning to the end. When she started, I remember she was, at really low, 40, and then she worked it all the way up to 99. And it was intense. She was very, very, what's the word? Committed? It's not the word I was looking for, but it means the same thing, I guess. Disciplined, that's the word. She was very disciplined about it. So she'd log in, and it was she'd spend a good 3 hours every day, if not more. So some days it was more, some days it was less, but it was every day. She'd come home from work and spend 3 hours weaponsmithing, and then log out, and then the next day after work she'd come home 3 more hours of weaponsmithing, every day, and then on the weekends it would be maybe longer than that, and a lot of that time was with no sleep bonus, because she would use whatever sleep bonus she had every day and it would be gone, and then the rest of the hours would be no sleep bonus. And then it was near the end when she was doing her push for 90, where she bought a whole bunch of sleep bonus so that she could just have sleep bonus fully on. But then I think once it got to 90, I think I could be wrong. She might have used sleep bonus again, but it got to the point where once she got to 90 and she was able to sell weaponsmithing, and then the money started rolling in, that it did she didn't need the motivation anymore. It was just work on the jobs that are coming in, and that kept pushing her weaponsmithing up. Because weaponsmithing is one of those professions that if you have it, it is high demand, or at least it was anyway. There is a demand for 90 quality plus weapons, not to mention the 95 quality weapons people are looking for. Yeah, persistent is another word. Yeah, because no one wants to level it. Exactly. Well, okay, everybody wants to level it. It's just nobody has the discipline to do it. I know it takes an insane amount of discipline. I hope that one day I can get there. Definitely taking a break from it right now, but at some point or another, I'm going to get back to it. So the next goal is 80, and then after that, the next goal would be 90. Oh, you don't want to? Yeah, well. See, I've always had the feeling like I want to have it leveled. I want to have weaponsmithing leveled. It's just a matter of doing it. And it is quite a hard skill to level up. It's just painful. Yeah, working on my animal husbandry. Yeah, I know. I gotta keep that up. Really, my bottleneck for the animals or animal husbandry is that I don't have enough animals yet. I'll go around and groom all the animals, and then I gotta wait. So I'm hoping that at some point or another we'll have enough animals that I'll go around and do all of the animals, and by the time I finish them, I can start on the first ones again. So I can do a full grind. Sheep, use sheep. Yes, I do have some sheep going for the wool. Sheep are good because shearing gives good skill. So you get the grooming and then you get the shearing. That doubles it up. But shearing doesn't come back nearly enough. Yeah, it's like once or twice a day you can shear them. Whetstone. I don't. I mean, I have I have one that I made while I was here. What did I make? I have a 91.89 quality whetstone. I mean, I'm able to make them because I have decent mining. So just mined a 90 plus quality shard, and I think I got Brian to chisel out one because his masonry is way better than mine. Truly, we don't really need anything. Like everything else, everything that we would get as a gift is like icing on the cake for us, you know? It's we have committed to the slow game, you know? We've committed to having our timers at 7 seconds again, 10-second timers. And I'm finding the game to be very enjoyable still. You know, I'm very much enjoying the slow grind. Everything just slowed down basically. And then there's the working back towards getting our timers to get faster. That's motivational. right, the things that I'm going to be saving up for to try to like progress are things that can help me skill up faster on the skills that I'm working on. So like these ones are the ones I'm working on or that I'm going to be focusing on. So animal husbandry, I'm currently actively doing that. The forestry, I'm sort of like hit and miss, but like I think long run, I want forestry to be a skill that I'm going to be working on. And gardening. And for the gardening, Brian's gonna have to make me a whole bunch of pots. And then we're gonna have to go out on a massive like botanizing stint. So we can get a decent stock of all the botanizing herbs. Yeah, I totally agree. Like doing a little. See, I've done that before too. Like when the Pristine Release servers opened up, I made a restart character, completely like brand new character. Played on this server, released for a while. I probably had a deed on here for like a good 3 or 4 months running before I came back to my main character, and I feel like he's still on here somewhere. Like I probably could load him on and help us out in this area as an alt. Okay, so you're planning on doing like a restart once you sell Muzik. Is that your like main character now? Yeah. I've always been... There's always like that thought in the back of my head of selling my main, but I think I've settled on never ever selling my main. Because who knows, like maybe even if I stop playing, maybe 5 years down the line I might want to play again. And it would not be the same if I didn't have my main character, I feel. I mean, do you have a character named Neo? Right, you're switching. Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense to switch to a character that has the name that you want. I wonder if the devs will ever get around to making an item that you can buy that can change your name. I know that was a long requested feature. And I know there's like a huge I guess conversation around whether or not allowing people to change names is something that is, you know, something that we should allow in this game. You've been using the same name for nearly 15 years now. Yeah. The community would hate rage. Yeah, I know. I know. They definitely... There was an outrage when there was talk about adding something like this. I think that it centered around PvP reasons. Like, for example, if I create a character and I do all sorts of crazy, stupid things on a PvP server, you know, griefing and whatnot, and then go and buy something that changes my name, then I could now act as a totally different person and nobody would know that I was that person who was griefing everybody. I think that was the argument against it. But I don't know. Yeah, this character's name, Griffith, I've been using that since... So that name was based off of a character that I made in World of Warcraft, like way long ago. So it's definitely over 10 years, I'd say. Ooh, mail. Time to go check the mail. And I think this is a perfect time now. Anyway, because we're getting there. It's already 10 after 11 here. So it's getting to be my bedtime. So I'm going to rename my chisel with my name so that Linux, you'll know that it's coming from me. Yeah, I didn't need brackets. And the mailbox we've been using lately is just down the road over here. Let's see there, and somebody had sent us pizza a couple weeks ago, and I just came and picked up the last of it from the mailbox because it was running out of time. So now that I picked it up, it started rotting, of course. Your husband's used the same name for 29 years. Wow. That's crazy. Do I need lead for a larder? Maybe. We don't have lead for sure. The question is, do we need a larder for this food? Yeah, but maybe. It's hard to say whether we'll be able to keep up with it. Maybe. Here's the thing. Larders are one of those items that we've never really... Thanks, Neo. Muzik. Thanks for that. Let's see here. We got a sickles and a whetstone. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then I'm going to send my stone chisel to Linux. Just going to double check that spelling there. Yep. Oh, and Silverwolf, you say you have an extra larder? The only thing is I feel like we might not keep up the larder well enough. Like we'd have to go shovel snowballs every winter. I'm finding there's times where some winters I just completely miss. Because it only lasts for a few days, so if you don't log in those days, you miss it completely. Okay, so Enki, you've been using this name since the days of IRC and email. Okay. Sometime during a previous century. Oh yeah, don't worry, Narias. Thank you. Anything with casts is better than what I have for sure. Okay, so let me just double check. COD means cash on delivery, so I do not want that. I'm just gonna send it, and I'm paying the 1 copper. Yes. All right. Thank you, Linux, for offering to put an enchant on there. Back when you were a Pac-Man champ. See, isn't Enki the name? I could be wrong. But isn't Enki the name of a comet? In the something belt, I can't remember. Alright, Enki. You have a good night. Snowballs last a while? Okay. Like, do they last longer than one worm year? And yes, these will definitely help with my forestry for sure. Especially the circle of cutting one. That's going to be super useful. Now I can go around and grind that for a while. I mean, I was going around and grinding it with just my regular sickle, this guy that I made. And that was going slow. Okay, so Silver Wolf, you're able to fill it up every other winter. You know, maybe, especially since Brian's wants to get into the hot food cooking. He's definitely been slacking on that for sure. But I think once we get a good setup for it, I think that's what we're waiting for. Is once we have like a kitchen that has a fully stocked food storage bin and, you know, an oven that has like a ton of whatever containers he needs, and he can do some like some filling, pan filling. Once that happens, I think then we'll definitely we'll be in the need for a larder. Let me see here. Is there any? Yeah, okay, good. There's some room in here. We have so much dirt. That's one thing that we have a ton of that we could trade with. I think that this one is a full 30. Yeah, it's a full 30 crates full of dirt. So what is that? 9,000 dirt there? And then the one over here, if not all of these 24, then most of them are full of dirt. So there's that one that's not full. The rest of the 24 is full. And then that's not even all. We have like another crate rack almost full of dirt. So that's what? That was 54 crates of dirt, where one of them was slightly not full. There's a bunch of dirt sitting on the ground there rotting away. And then this crate rack here, there's another 24. Okay, two of them are empty, so there's 22. Okay, not all of them are dirt. But there's a bunch of them that are dirt. So that's a lot of dirt. Have we made a boat yet for shipping? No. We made a boat for dredging, and it was only a rowboat. So we haven't gotten that far really. We have been spending our time doing things that aren't the most useful, like for example making this pond. We're like, the first thing that we wanted to do was make a pond, knowing that that's totally not useful but totally for aesthetics. But that's what we did first. And then and then we dug a whole ton of dirt. So we did make this rowboat specifically so that we could dredge this pond out. But aside from that, and aside from the stables and now the horse stable, the cow stables, we haven't really done much else in terms of construction. So a big boat is something that we need to do. That might give me an excuse to work on my shipbuilding. Brian has decent shipbuilding. He'll be able to get his, he can build NARs and stuff. So, these sheep, man. These sheep just keep stomping this. this grass. So until I can enchant it all, it's just gonna be like constant replacing of the thatch. Make a caravel. Right. To be honest, I really think that a gnar is good enough for what we all need. Oh man, getting tired. Okay, I just want to make sure that none of the other animals have stomped any of the grass before I go to bed. As well as making sure that my animals on the cart are on some grass. So let's bring them up here. Are caravels easy to drive, or are they kind of like cogs where driving them is just the biggest pain in the ass? Because I always picture caravels just to be like super cumbersome to drive. Yeah. Okay, because you stole it. Yeah, and you know they sometimes can't make it through some of the boat canals. I found that with cogs as well. Which is why I've always preferred gnars. They tend to be able to go everywhere. And they hold quite a lot. You know, enough that it's not, you know. Like I think there's like a good 40 some odd crates can be held in a gnar. I'm going to just put these down next to this one. I'm going to call this one sandstone bricks. And these ones are just going to call sandstone shards. And then I'm going to put them next to them for now. Currently, this little area is our bulk storage making area. But the hope is to eventually switch it down to that spot down there. Down at this little area here. We're going to make a nice building for it. Okay, Silverwolf, we'll for sure. I'm gonna talk with Brian. We're gonna think of what we want to do for that. We'll come up with something that makes sense, and then we'll let you know. That'd be very helpful. Thanks. And I think that's gonna be a night for me. Let's just check this bed. I'm gonna see. Can I sleep here? Okay, good. Good. There's my bed that Brian made, and I'm gonna steal it from him. All right. Well, tonight was pretty productive. At least I got what I wanted done, which was to go out and get 3 full crates of sandstone. I wanted to check out the Twitch Memorial, which was awesome, by the way. And I wanted to come back and make a few bricks. I only got through like 100 or so. But thank you so much to Lionix, who's offered to put some WOA casts on my stone chisel. So that'll make the next brick making section better. Thanks, Neo, for giving me a bunch of these casted items. This is definitely going to come in handy for skilling up. But thanks to everybody who's offered to help us out. Greatly appreciated. I just wanted to let you guys know that you can follow us on Twitter, and I'm trying my best to get better at Twitter. But hopefully, I'm sending out stuff that's going to let you guys know when we're going to be streaming. The other thing we got to get better at is coming up with a day that we're going to be streaming more regularly. But it's the way that our life is, and streaming is sort of a hobby, just a fun little thing that we do on the side. So often other things take priority, and we just